What's up? What's up out there, everybody? How y'all doing? Unique the Godfather consciousness out here. Wishing you nothing but love, joy, peace, happiness, delight, and a hint of adversity. And said, damn, how the hell you gonna wish adversity on somebody? Well, brother, sister, you gotta understand, sometimes a hint of adversity is a good thing. Because through adversity, one's character is able to mature and grow and develop into something greater than they themselves even knew themselves to be. So, with all the love, joy, peace, and happiness, take that little bit of adversity and develop your character into something greater. Side note, this is not what we are to discuss in this moment. Just woke up, having a moment of peace, self-reflection, setting the tone of my day in a way. Now, as I am sitting here and just watching, observing both what's going on within self and what's going on outside of self, now, generally, I am not the kind of individual that will ever dare to attack anybody in any way, shape, or form. Example, I would never attack your lifestyle. I would never attack a person's belief system. I would never attack just how you choose to go about living and experiencing your life. For to do so is an abomination to myself, to my character. And Lord knows that I shall never do. But boys and girls, brothers and sisters, this message, like all of the messages that is expressed through this form, is there, is simply served to but create awareness within self. Perhaps bring within those who are courageous enough to take the time to try to understand these words that are coming out of my mouth, to take that bold step to perhaps altering their perspective on what they convince themselves to be true. Because in life, as I have come to realize, don't no one person have all the answers. Don't nobody know shit. So as one experiences this life, you got to understand and accept that it is indeed a process of trial and error. That is why we have this beautiful word that is known as mistake. Trial and error. I tried it, I made a mistake, but now what is important? After making that mistake, what is one supposed to do? So, me personally, the way I look at things is like this. If life is a process of unbecoming, by that I mean a process of development and growth, change, then ultimately that that too is the responsibility of all human beings. Stay with me, we're going somewhere with this. You know how we do, man. For me to just come out and drop the information on you without preparing you for it, you may miss it. You may miss the point I'm trying to get across. So, and we're not doing that because the time for foolishness is done and behind us. It's time to be wise. It's time to be great. It's time to be that divine being that is within the vessel. And once functioning from this divine self, boy, you don't want no bullshit. You don't want no lies. You don't want no illusion. You desire the absolute truth. Point blank, period. So, back to this whole life is a process of unbecoming. This trial and error, this making mistakes and learning from them. Each and every day, it is my belief that it is a new opportunity to right the wrongs of the past. Yesterday, I made a mistake. I got a new day today, brand new day, fresh start. Am I going to continue to repeat the mistakes from yesterday, or am I going to realize that it's a new day? I have it within me the ability, the power to right my wrongs, to develop and grow. And so now, brothers and sisters, today is a new day. As I'm sitting in my place of contemplation, debating on what parts of me I am to work on, I am to embrace, I am to let go. I sit here bearing witness to this outside environment, and before me I see a church. Now, like I said, I ain't the kind of person to attack anybody's belief. This is not to attack anybody's belief. So, look at this from a place of, again, a different perspective. Perhaps this perspective is going to set you free mentally. Perhaps this perspective is going to give you the necessary strength, the necessary level of understanding to just help you see clearer the path that you truly want to be on, and then making a decision to get on that path without feeling guilty because you have now received some solidary information that can be utilized as one of those bricks that is within your foundation. And so now, boys and girls, this church situation, every Sunday I wake up, I see these niggas pulling up in this church, getting ready to go praise this God, getting ready to go pass out, getting ready to go shout and jump for joy. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, that's a great thing. You're about to go worship God. You're about to go praise God. You're about to go offer gratitude, tributes, praises to this wonderful deity that you say has done everything for you, this deity that has protected you, led, guided you, this deity that is all powerful, this deity that none can comprehend, none is able to fathom, this deity that is just awesome. And I applaud you for that, because at some point we all did this. The why is that um, the focus of this message is on this church gathering ceremony that is currently taking place. As I observe it, the thought comes to mind, and I find it interesting that after everything that has taken place since this COVID chapter of humanity's evolution, I find it very interesting that people can actually still wake up in the morning, get ready, prepare themselves to go to this place of worship, to worship this God. Stick with me. Why is this something that I feel as though it has to be spoken upon? Well, brothers and sisters, this something that I'm speaking upon is this. If at some point in humanity's evolution, development, and growth, they arrive at this page within the chapter, and the title of this chapter is called COVID. This COVID revealed to the various members of humanity that all your life you have shown and spoken boldly that your God is this all power. Your God is this all strength. Your God is this all healer. There is nothing more powerful than your God. But then from nowhere, this COVID comes into the evolution and reveals to humanity that no, your God ain't shit. I am more powerful than your God. In fact, I am so much more powerful than your God. Now, this is me just putting my consciousness in the state of COVID to just reveal. So now, back on point. Not only that your God ain't shit, I'm more powerful than your God. Why? Because I had the power to shut down God's place of worship. Sit with that. COVID had or have the power to shut down your God place of worship. COVID have the power to tell you how many people is allowed to be in God's place of worship. COVID detect how far or near you are to sit with one another. COVID also detects how you are to communicate with one another, the distance between all of this. COVID picks you up, turns you around, threw you up, turned your entire life around, and spitted you out. And the whole purpose was to show you that indeed the God that you praise and worship ain't shit. But again, each and every day, there's no one greater than God. God is all power. God is all strength. God is the protector. God is the healer. God has the final say in my life. COVID said, oh, really? Let's prove that. Now then, as we can clearly see the development from the moment COVID revealed itself in the chapter and the page that we find ourselves on now, COVID proved to everybody that indeed, fuck your God. COVID is greater than your God. You fear COVID more than you fear your own God. In lemur's terms, as we all know, I ain't the type to tell anyone the idea of fearing God, but that's for another day. Because how can I fear my God? That is the stupidest shit in the world. But not now. So now, you fear COVID more than you fear your own God. And because of that fear, many places of worship worldwide was shut down. Proven to each and every worshiper that COVID, again, is far more dangerous than your God that you worship. The point I'm trying to get across, brothers and sisters, boys and girls, is simply this. How do you feel waking up every Sunday to get dressed, to hop in a car, to drive to a location at one point where you felt, this is my safe haven, this is my God's house, this is my God's place of worship, and I am on my way there to go worship my God, this place, which was now shut down, and in a way proving to you again that your God really is not all powerful as you thought him or her to be. Now, everything that has transpired, you waking up to go to this place that has proven itself to you, this deity that has proven that it is powerless and worthless. But now you are waking up because apparently COVID has so-called died down. So now it's safe for you to go back and worship your God. How do you feel truly, knowing that you're going to go serve a God that has been proven powerless and worthless? This is not something that I want to do. This conversation needs to be had so that you may awaken from that illusion that you find yourself in. Personally, I'm the kind of person, I function logically. I function more from the logic aspect of me a lot. It's just recently I've had to realize I need to combine logic and emotions together to fully be me. But logically, even emotionally, when you look at this situation, if I was in the shoes of these people who at some point God was everything to them, and then COVID came and pretty much told them that your God is not shit, and then the evidence all around them manifested, confirming that indeed this deity that you believe in wholeheartedly desires to serve ain't shit. Something within me is going to determine, it's going to recognize that truth, not fear it, not run from it. It's going to behold that truth. tearing it apart in every way possible, looking at it from every angle, trying to reach some form of understanding as to why is it that I was raised, programmed, conditioned to accept this ideology that indeed my God is great. My God will always be there to protect me. My God, there is nothing more powerful than my God. But then this COVID comes out of nowhere and disturbs the very foundation that is my God. See, the gears will be turning quickly. Something is wrong here. Something is wrong. You're not seeing something, you're missing something. Because if indeed my God is so powerful, then that means my God's house, my God's place of worship is untouchable. My God's place of worship is untouchable. This is my safe havens. Everywhere else in the world, I could be in a place of stress, duress, uncomfortability. I could just be lost everywhere else. But when I arrive at this house, I am home with my Maker. That was taken away from so many people. The revelation that was revealed to so many people, that foundation that they stood on, it was yanked from under them to the level in which that many couldn't truly fathom nor understand their own belief system. Back to the question. How do you feel waking up, preparing yourself to go to that God that has now been proven to you its worthlessness due to a disease that could kill you? But then again, you say your God is literally powerful to the point where all sickness ceases, all diseases does not exist. There is nothing your God cannot handle. See, me logically, if I looked at that situation or if I was immersed in that situation, that right there would have been the revelation I needed to perhaps now begin to question, is this really my belief? Is this really my God? Or is this a belief that somebody handed to me? Or is this a God that somebody handed to me? Each and every day, if I was bold enough to hop in that car to now go worship that God that has been proven to me by COVID, that COVID is far greater and more terrifying than that God, perhaps I will begin to say something is wrong here. Perhaps this idea of God, I might need to look at it more deeply. Perhaps I may need to look at myself more deeply to try to understand why is it my God, the all-powerful, the all-creator and maker of heaven and earth and all of these things, my God, this place of worship, an entity had the power to shut it down. Like I always tell everybody, if I was a minister overseeing a church, a pastor, a deacon, a leader of a church, under no circumstances, I had to hit that so you know just how serious I am about this. Under no circumstances was my church, my father, my mother, my God place of worship was to be shut down. If I was to lose my position, I don't give a fuck. If I was to lose the building, we still wouldn't give a fuck. Now, how I am and how I move, if I was to lead, or best believe everybody that was in that space, they were going to feel that devotion, that loyalty to my deity, that faith I have in my deity, to say that in the face of despair, in the face of fear, in the face of destruction, in the face of death, I cannot be shaken. We cannot be shaken. This is the congregation now. We cannot be shaken. Thus, COVID said, oh, you cannot have a certain group of people, a certain number of people in the same space. It wouldn't have fucking mattered, because our faith would have said that. Our faith would have said otherwise. COVID said we have to shut down the church. Well, if I owned the land that my church was sitting on, fuck no, we ain't doing that. But being that, you also got to look at the material aspect of thing, where it's like own shit. So let's just say if I didn't own it, the land belonged to another person. They said, well, even though you have your faith and we have our own agenda, but we need you to go. We would have moved our church to my house, or we would have found a way to meet in the park and still continue praising, worshiping, and loving our deity, believing that there is absolutely no fear, because we have faith that through all adversities, through all challenges, our God is the rock that we stand upon. But this was not the case for many churches. This was not the case for many believers. Many believers quickly feared, quickly panicked, quickly ran, quickly chose to believe in others' way of thinking, running away from their God, now believing that some airborne disease has more power than their God. The amount of guilt that even comes from that, the amount of shame, the amount of fear is enough to create some form of instability within one's consciousness, within oneself, within one way of being. You believe in one thing, something else shows up and prove to you that indeed you really don't believe in it. Because if you believe it, nigga, in the face of terror, you would have never been shaken. But in the face of in the face of terror, indeed you were shaken. So now you had the responsibility to find out, why was I shaken? Why did I allow myself to be shaken in the face of fear? Forward the story. COVID has died down. Apparently the world is returning back to its natural state, where now you have permission to go back and worship your God. You have permission to go back and fellowship with your fellow believers. You have permission to go continue to live the lies and illusion you're convincing yourself to live. You have permission. From who? From COVID? From those that were behind the whole COVID situation. And what was that? What's that clown ass doctor name that when he said jump, everybody jumped? Doctor. I hate the idea of calling him. Well, yeah, I hate the idea of calling him doctor, because truly doctors. A doctor responsibility. The whole point of being a doctor is to pretty much see someone healthy, but this motherfucker pretty much that it's not. It's like, I want to get you sick, but we all miss that. I forget his name. If you know his name, I'm talking about the doctor that's on all the goddamn news network telling everybody, oh, COVID is doing this, oh, COVID is now doing this, COVID is over there, oh, it's over there, blah, 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 blah. This doctor. Because you didn't went from now listening and looking at everything God was saying. For many, that doctor became their God. Because when this nigga said, COVID this, COVID that, COVID this, COVID that, everybody's like this, that, left, right. This nigga said, go left, we're going left. Go right, go up, go down. When all along, the revelation of all that was transpiring within your reality was again to show you this God that you serve, this God that you believe in. You may have to question that deity. You may have to even question yourself as to why is it you have a deity that his house can be shut down. And then you willingly sit there and allow it to happen. And then go sit at home waiting until it is safe, until you are told that it is safe for you to go back and worship your God. I'm telling you, yo, that shit would have destroyed something within my psyche. And I'm glad when it comes to matters of the mind, I don't allow anything nor anybody to influence this unless I feel on a core level that this information that is being given to me is serving me. This information that is being given to me, it feels good to the spirit. This information, using the spirit of discernment, I can allow it in here, because everything you allow in here influences your reality. When it comes to a belief system, brothers and sisters, so many of the masters, not even masters, I ain't gonna refer to these niggas as masters. These were just people who wholeheartedly loved their maker, that they understood that through their belief, through their faith, their world is created and manifested through what you believe.